Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
I get a lot of questions about toy discoloration, commonly known as yellowing, and what can be done to correct it. I've read many discussions online about the various methods used to treat the phenomenon, which seems to plague a lot of vintage toys, particularly those made from white, blue, and gray plastic. Just as exhaustive are the discussions about why this yellowing might occur. Forums and message boards have miles and miles of debate on this issue. While there is evidence that certain chemical treatments have shown success in reversing the discoloration, such as peroxide and RetroBright, there's far less agreement on exactly what causes it in the first place. Some say it's just the natural aging of the plastic. Others say it's sunlight exposure. Others decry acids from all manner of containers. It was the acid in the cardboard box! It was the acid in the Ziploc bag! It was the acid in the bubble! There's acid everywhere! I can't prove what method is the best way to correct yellowing. I can't predict what those chemicals might do to your toys in the long run. They could be damaging the plastic, or they might not be. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Frankly, I don't de-yellow many of my toys. It just doesn't bother me that much most of the time. But because I've had many of these toys since I purchased them in the 1980s, I can tell you with confidence what isn't causing this yellowing. Let's start with Exhibit A, Spirit. My mom was the type that didn't want to see her two sons fighting over different toys, so she often bought us each the same figure. A little frustrating at the time, but 30 years later, it makes for a great long-term experiment. On Christmas Day, 1984, I received Spirit, and so did my little brother. These two figures are the very same Spirits from way back when, bought at the same store on the same day. I couldn't begin to tell you which one was my brother's and which one was mine, but you can see one thing. One has discolored badly, and one hasn't. Both of these Spirits were in the same toy bin, and both were exposed to the same temperatures and conditions for 3 decades, which included hot attics, cold crawl spaces, and 3 years of long-term, non-climate controlled storage. In 1995, I organized my toys and bagged up the action figures. These Spirits were each placed in a Ziploc food-grade storage bag on the same day and put in the same shoebox where they've been for the better part of the past 20 years. Never displayed, always stored. Clearly, one discolored and one didn't. But if it was the acid from the Ziploc bags causing the discoloration, wouldn't 20 years of storage have discolored them both? Apparently not. I didn't play with my toys outside often, and I never left them outside. So excessive sun exposure isn't a likely culprit. In fact, the only reason I can see that one Spirit discolored and the other didn't is handling. Clearly, the discolored Spirit is in worse condition than his twin, so it must have been that we grabbed that one for playtime and left the other one in the toy bin, because who needs 2 Spirits? And if that theory seems a little thin to you, let me show you Exhibit B. This is my childhood Storm Shadow. He was, without a doubt, my favorite G.I. Joe villain to play with. Like Spirit, he went into a Ziploc bag in 1995. A few years ago, I unearthed him, and he had yellowed. I was stunned, and I thought it might have been the Ziploc bag. But when I saw the 2 Spirits, I started to wonder. Storm Shadow was used all the time because ninjas never get dull. In other words, he was in my hands constantly. Now let's look at Exhibit C, Duke. Another of my favorite Joes to play with, and clearly discolored on his torso. I'm starting to see a pattern. By contrast, my childhood Stormtrooper, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker aren't really all that badly yellowed. They're no worse now than they were when I put them in Ziploc bags in the 90s. I didn't play with these as much as the other characters because these were my brothers. Now, Bespin Luke, Bespin Han, Sensor Scope R2-D2, and Boba Fett, those were mine. And you can easily see I'm not exaggerating when I say they were in my hands all the time. Look at the paint wear on them from all the handling. I feel like there's a correlation between finger oils and eventual yellowing. I also have a few toys that have always been in their original cardboard boxes, such as my Micro Star Wars Bespin Freeze Chamber. Has cardboard acid discolored any part of this toy in 32 years? No. Take this Silver Horse from the Lone Ranger line. He is just as white as the day I bought him in 1982, and that's because he was barely played with, and he too went into a Ziploc bag in 1995. At the end of the day, I can't prove with certainty exactly what's causing white plastic toys to turn yellow, but I can tell you that the toys in my possession that have been with me since the 80s have a pedigree of care that's well documented. Ziploc bags haven't turned any of these toys in the RetroBlasting Archive yellow, and some have been in the same bags for 20 years. Given all the debate about Ziploc bags and acids and white plastic, as a precaution, I have taken a number of the white plastic figures and put them in clear plastic clamshells, but I don't think they were in any danger from Ziploc bags. Based on everything I've experienced, finger oils and UV rays are the real culprits here. Don't use fluorescents in your toy display room. Don't put your toy display room in an area with a lot of windows that let in a lot of sunlight. Only use LED lights for your toy displays. I'm sure there will be heated disagreement on this video, but these two spirits are, in my mind, a smoking gun that vindicates Ziploc bags, or at least shows their culpability is negligible. But most importantly, don't take my word for it. As yet, I have not seen a definitive answer on this question. So if you're more comfortable buying stacks and stacks of acid-free bags, or buying tons of plastic clamshells for your action figures, or putting them in fish tackle boxes, or all those different things that different people do that swear up and down avoids the yellowing process, if you found one that you're mentally comfortable with, pick that and go for it. All I'm saying is that for 20 to 25 years now, I've had some of my toys in Ziploc bags, food-grade Ziploc bags, and they have not affected the color of my toys at all.